All the moves ahead of the news. No financial advice, of course.
Surely, you've noticed you find yourself outnumbered.
I don't think so.
Don't forget your stop loss. There is no help in rushing to be rich. And plenty of wealth. Hello and welcome to the show. Traders, top half LivePerson, bottom half Gamestop. We've got the Rocky Outcrop Flash. You get that free, that indicator, on the paid side of the Rocky Outcrop Discord at discord.gg/Rocky Outcrop. You should all join there. See LivePerson going to $69, GameStop going to 20. The question was previously, back in October, November time, which will get to $20 first? And obviously it's the internet, so I got lots of abuse about suggesting that GameStop could go down at all. And that was directed in a negative way, aimed at LivePerson. You might have noticed it on the subreddit and so on. The elitists and the black shirts came along and started, bashing things with their candlesticks and whatnot. So we've got our own candlestick basher here, LivePerson, aiming for that $69 target. GameStop still looking at a $20. If it slips below 25.11, it'll drop out of this horizontal support. It'll be back within its previous formation. It'll probably come down, test lower than that 20, maybe even down 17.55. LivePerson, on the other hand, huge targets to the top side, back up towards its prior high, and it'll continue beyond those levels when it does take off. There's quick places to look to. Let's just draw out an extension, take it from this low here, back up again. 1.13 is at 140, 1414, that's at 591, and the 1618 is at 1662. So is it possible LivePerson gets to such extreme targets from such low places right now at 124 post-market? Yes, of course it's possible. Question though, which gets to $20 first? Looks like it could be GameStop because it's in quite a rapid descent. If we take this downward slope and diagonal across the top of price action here, 24-hour and extended time frame, then plop that guy on. And you've got other flash targets that were filled on the way down. Likely see those areas of interest to topside up at around $9. A gap is also closed, so interesting. Pay attention to those levels. And historical support turned resistance, also interesting. So this is a very important note here. $18 to $20 so dollars, that important resistance level, and previous to that support. If that breaks, you'll be looking up at these targets here and then beyond. Right now, getting there isn't all that unbelievable. Price has been in this downward slope and broadening wedge here. If it is to break to the top side, you might get a bump and run formation. There's a couple of different places that could be activated from. If we do take it from this being the first downward slope and diagonal across the type of top of price action, your decrease that went at least 100% more in terms of the rate of decline. So that signal is true. You broke above the first downward slope and diagonal, and should the second one break your measured move, absolutely huge, absolutely huge. You could be looking at something takes it like this here, and that'd be back up above those important notes we were talking about. Look left, you can see it's a golden pocket retracement just ahead of that area. And so it's not unrealistic at all to be looking at above $10 on LivePerson. $20 though, that's another leg again up. If you go to the regular hours, you can see why I think that's also an interesting area here. Price action will drop down to the 4-hour time frame. These are the important gaps to fill up here around $10, and so get the measured move off the back of this. You've broken the golden pocket, and the $20 target, a little bit of no man's land. So while price action could get there, it's actually more likely it goes on further, right? $20 isn't a profit-taking target. And we were talking about this on Discord earlier, and it could seem like an absurd conversation and exercise in being ridiculous to people who don't have the same conviction or who look at your method of analysis and would critique it without properly knowing how powerful it is. The point I'd make about $20 is it's a very interesting pivot point for other stocks that you may be interested in looking at. It's a very strong psychological level and it's a round number, so people will pay attention to it. But if price action breaks out in the method and in the manner that we anticipate here, the targets would be just from the measured move at that $20 at that important node, and then price action breaking above there, testing much, much higher significant levels. So all of these areas are interesting. 36, 38, likewise. Daily time frame, downward sloping diagonal, important that guy breaking. You've had 2, 3 touches on it, so it's very much a real level of resistance, despite the fact that it's a diagonal. And you go at the weekly time frame, it's also true that it's there, so I'd pay a lot of attention to that. Look left, you can see that price action on this thing has gone through a number of retracements previously. That's not what the guy I was looking for. We were looking for this guy, yes. So from the IPO, retracement down again, the 1.14 was its high previously in around that area. It's very roughly drawn. That was the first guy. You could then take it from the next drop down, say 1.414. It very much enjoys that level. And then see from the next high to this low, you got 1618. So does that trend continue? And if it does continue, what does it mean in terms of its linear increase? Where your top side targets here, depends how you look at this guy. Obviously that's your previous channel. Should price action get back into this and then make it to the 1.13, you've got this elasticity of price action, which could be expressed with a breakout like this and taking it to these crazy ass levels. Now that's not going to happen any immediate term. We've got strong levels to defeat first and important narrative for the company to achieve to even get back within this channel. But it is on the breakout from a bump and run reversal. Liquidity from that channel might be something like that. But actually a lot of people will be looking at this and saying, oh, pardon me, and saying that there's lots of different formations on the go. And we've talked in relative detail about some of the harmonics, and you've seen something similar come up recently. And at the 30-minute time frame, we've also got those important targets back to the top side. A lot of areas above, a lot of activity on LivePerson, and there's the flash back up at around 60, 27, 23, right? So lots of important levels that will get hit on LivePerson. I'm excited to see that happening. You get that indicator, rocky outcrop flash on the rocky outcrop disc, free for members. You also get the toolkit, unbelievable help there. An awful lot of different things included. Save you money on your Trade and View subscription. Very much good value over there on the rocky outcrop Discord. And these are just the icing on the cake, because the real value is the resources that the excellent traders add there every day. Brilliant Discord, brilliant community, doing seriously good things with LivePerson. Everybody's welcome to join. It's not monogamous. If you're part of other trading communities, I'm sure you would benefit from being part of the Rock Outcrop Discord. Do think about giving it a look-see. I can guarantee you'll be in good company. So that's what we're looking at on LivePerson. A lot of people will be pining for a GME update and slightly concerned about the fact that it broke below that $29 level. $30 is a really clear level of risk management on Gamestop. When it's above that level, you're looking for weekly closes with volume and with a lot of interest, rather than price action petering out. So you got your double top on the RSI. Previously it held the center line RSI. If that should break now, price action would come back down, test in at around the lows of this formation, $20. So you can see very much why that might be an area to look to. Also, it could be said that this move here, the retracement down again, this consolidation, this move back up again, all of that, you can see on the RSI that price action has put in the same level of effort to reach a much lower high than that most recent one. And if we're to then take this guy and up on a Fibonacci from the body close, the highest level, 886 at 38. It didn't even make it to the 886. It made it to a 786 and then got rejected. So you might be looking at a 1.13 extension going back down again. And then you'd have to take it from the low formation, which itself starts below $20. And your 1.13 is in at around 1750. And that's where you find your 236 from this overall formation, from the highs to the lows. And it could well be, like we were saying with GameStop before, that $20 target itself, not necessarily a pivot point on this ticker, but very interesting, everyone following along. And if the price does turn around, it might be as low as 1750, 1749 that you see that sort of thing happening. 1793 is certainly paying attention. So that's what we're looking at there. And SPY, well, it's long-term, weekly time frame, nothing to worry about, right? Everything looks absolutely fandabadozy, and you would get a little bit of risk off across important macro events like new administration coming in. 24-hour time frame looks like it's rolling over a head and shoulders. You've got bearish divergence, but then you've got bullish continuation divergence at the lows. It's also testing that 236 on that 24-hour time frame. So if it does push back up again, then it could be really strong moves, and they could be sustained higher highs. Everything yet to be decided. If the breakdown happens, you've already lost the 236, but that previous level of support wasn't the be all and end all. You would easily come down, wick into this area, get some liquidity, and you see a harmonic at this side. So it could easily push back up again now, and that'll measure move off the back of that. 4-hour time frame held the bottom of the bearish side of this RSI, just above the bearish control zone. You got the rejection of the 236 and the previous level of support as the price lost its own moving average here, slipped below into that new low area, but gives it bullish divergence, and that price is putting in lower lows. RSI isn't quite doing that, so we would say there's a degree of uncertainty on SPY, but the trend currently has been risk off. So we'll see if that picture changes. If it does, it could change quickly. You've got VIX closing gaps, and still an area of retracement to go now. This putting in a head and shoulders, breaking that important diagonal. This would be your neckline. You can look at this previous formation, say price action on VIX looks like it's slipping back into an important period of what was flux for a while until it found support, and you could see something similar happening again with price coming in, testing that prior weekly low. All of these technical assessments, this toolkit here applies all of that automatically. Your Fibonacci's dropped on, all the important weekly closes, daily, so on. You can see it all there on the right. Everything there done for you automatically and done correctly, which is a huge time saver and incredible boost to your accuracy, which can be a really big important element of your trading if you use an edge, which most traders who are successful over a period of time do. So this is what we're looking at. VIX perhaps retracing, coming all the way back down, test 1516 again, maybe even lower. That could be SPY then recovering. It's got its own inverted head and shoulders. Previous gap close at 5911. Perhaps it comes back up and tests 5934. I would anticipate that being the where it goes if the direction down looks like it's going to halt. And you've got a reversal formation now, a gap close when you look left. You've got your bullish divergence. It could easily break to the top side if it covers 236. The center line RSI, and it holds its own moving average. That's that early on SPY. But a confirmation what might happen then looking at VIX. And if these things are moving to the top side, it could be some respite for Gamestop, which has got a dramatic downturn at the minute. There's your 382 coming in around 27.36. Close enough is near enough. You know that you'll always have enough. And if you do have enough, then that's plenty to be getting a little bit of Libsyn because it's cheap as chips, right? This is better than NASDAQ price. That is a pizza wedge. Slice, you know, lots of different ways of looking at it. It's typically the sort of thing that would break to the top side. There's various ways of drawing underneath that. You could be taking it as something slightly more dramatic. Price action coming down, golden pocket. I wouldn't expect it to break necessarily below 111. If it does, you've got 786, previous diagonal breakout, and an important level between 91 and $1. That's really important level there. Amazing if you could get it at 81 to 86 cents. That would be insanely good value on something which, like I say, in future could go extremely high prices. And looking at the fundamentals of the company, you can see that there is an extremely important date coming up. Earnings in 37 days. The new administration coming in. AI is the big deal, right? If you'll check the news stories on Discord, you'll see today it was a big deal in the UK. Entire economy, but in particular in the health service. That's going to be very relevant for LivePerson. The addressable market there is insanely high. And LivePerson, the only people that have got compliance and could be a viable solution for many of the states in the US. So I think this President Trump's arrival, the obvious benefits that LivePerson as a service offers in this type of economy, and the technical picture we see in the charts sets this thing up so that it could do the sort of moves that it previously has done, right? Nothing crazy about that previous trend there. From the lows to the highs when there was no real concern about LivePerson's business. You know, it went up 1,735%. Right now, it did that sort of linear increase a number of times when it was moving up, and that's what a growth narrative does for a tech business. This is perfectly poised on the precipice of change to make the most of big moves in LivePerson. So if you're looking forward to that, I would suggest that you've got a lot coming up, a lot of positive moves coming up on LivePerson. So thank you very much for watching. all the moves ahead of the news. No financial advice, of course.
Surely, you've noticed you find yourself outnumbered.
I don't think so.
Don't forget your stop loss. There is no help in rushing to be rich. And plenty of wealth in waiting to be right.